Hi, welcome back. This is the third video in our Algebra 1 review, and this video is going to talk about dealing with exponents. If you recall, exponents indicate a repeated multiplication of the same factor, and instead of writing that out, they can be written using exponents. And what that exponent tells us, it tells us the number of times the factor or base is multiplied together. Writing it as a general rule, we're going to have a as our factor or base to the nth power, and this tells us that a is multiplied by itself n times, whatever the exponent is. So if we look at our first example, which is example 6, we're going to evaluate 4 to the third. My factor or base is 4, and my exponent is 3. This tells me that that base of 4 is multiplied by itself 3 times. So I have 4 times 4 times 4. That's 16 times 4 is 64. So 4 to the third power is equal to 64. One of the processes that often gives students some difficulty is using an exponent when it applies to a negative integer. And we have to remember one simple rule, and that is that the exponent applies to what is directly, and that's an R, in front of it, and nothing else. So for a negative to be under the power of an exponent, it must be in parentheses. Looking at our two examples here under example 7, I have negative 4 in parentheses squared, and that 2 is applying to everything in the parentheses. So this is saying negative 4 times negative 4, and a negative times a negative is going to give me a positive 16. However, in the next example, we have negative 4 squared, which actually means the opposite of 4 squared, because this 2 applies only to the 4, so I have minus 4 times 4 times the quantity 4 times 4, and I get negative 16. So when you're looking and dealing with exponents and you have a negative base without parentheses, remember it does not affect or have power over the negative.